In less than a month, Prince George will have a new mayor. But before that happens, a lot of voters will need to decide on a candidate. A CKPG News Prince George citizen poll shows 51% of respondents still have not decided on who they want to lead the city. While Don Zurowski and Lynn Hall assembled their platforms, a whopping 29% of people don't know what they consider to be the most important issue facing the city.
Signs are up across the city. Who will be Prince George's next mayor, Lynn Hall or Don Zurowski? The Oracle poll telephone survey suggests Zurowski has the slight advantage, with 55% of voters leaning towards or having decided to vote for him, compared to the 45% support for Hall.
We can consider this a tight race for mayor with only two challengers.
Lecturer Jason Morris says it's still early, but this election may come down to the wire, especially with polls showing 51% of voters still undecided on a mayor. As the candidates assemble their platforms, they may try to focus on a handful of hot-button issues, but 29% of respondents said they don't know what the most important election issue is.
Nearly a third of those that took the poll that don't know what the major issue is could suggest that there are so many things going on that it's hard to just pick one as the top issue.
Winter maintenance and snow removal have dominated council discussions, with winter around the corner, but only 9% of respondents identified it as a top issue. More people identified infrastructure as the biggest issue over everything else, but it still only garnered 16% of responses.
A solid 29% looks for a good set of balanced services, and they pay for their local government to provide a set of services. They expect it to do as well. They're not associated with one specific issue.
Former City Councillor Don Zurowski has a slight overall lead versus current Councillor Lynn Hall. Zurowski says infrastructure, civic pride, and population growth are his top priorities if elected. Hall appeals more to people 18 to 34 years old, while Zurowski leads in the 65-plus age group. Hall's identified new ways of leadership, snow removal, and infrastructure as the biggest issues for him at City Hall.
Our infrastructure below ground and above ground, that was a big piece of conversation in the community for a long time. So I'm surprised that it had rated so high as not one particular issue that people were looking at.
The 350-person survey has a margin of error of plus or minus 5.2%, 19 times out of 20. It was conducted between October 15th and October 20th. Ryan Kessler, CKPG News.
And you can hear more from the candidates on November 6th. That's when CKPG, the Prince George Citizen, and the Prince George Chamber of Commerce will host a mayoral forum at UNBC's Canfor Theatre.